Before watching this video, you should have worked on this warm-up on your own first or with your partner. And now I want you to come back to the video to check your answers and take notes. Okay, so number one, it says use this original rectangle on the right to answer questions part A and B. So number one, you have a rectangle. This length is 3 centimeters, which means the other side is also 3. And then the width is 4 centimeters. So we're going to label the top as 4 centimeters. Now, we have these square marks on all 4 corners. Whenever you have the angle or the corners drawn with a little smaller square inside, that means the angle is 90 degrees. We call those right angles. So just note these symbols mean that each side is 90 degrees. Okay, so for part A, you have to choose a scale factor, any scale factor that would make this a larger similar rectangle. Now, how do you make something bigger? How do you scale up? What kind of scale factor do you need? You need a scale factor that is bigger than 1. It could be a decimal, it could be a fraction, but you should have chosen a scale factor that is bigger than 1. And then, given that with your scale factor, find the length and the width of the new rectangle. At the end, you do have to explain in words how you know that this new rectangle is similar to the original one. So I am going to choose a scale factor of 3. So then the length of this new rectangle is going to be found by multiplying the original 3 centimeters by the scale factor of 3. And that's going to give me 9 as my new length. And then the width of the original rectangle is 4, so I'm going to multiply that also by scale factor 3, and that gives me 12. So then, how do you know that this rectangle is similar to the original? Well, you have to provide 2 reasonings. And if you don't have this in your answer, you need to make sure you write this down. It's similar to the original because, number 1, all angles are the same. The corresponding corners, the matching corners have the same angles. They both have the same mark, 90 degrees, 90 degrees, 90 degrees, 90 degrees. All corresponding angles are the same angles. Now remember, corresponding means matching. So again, matching angles are exactly the same. They're all 90 degrees. Okay, so make sure you write that down. And then number 2, what's another reason why they're similar? Well, every side is multiplied by the same scale factor. 4 times 3 is 12, 3 times 3 is 9, 4 times 3 is 12, 3 times 3 is also 9. All sides are multiplied by the same scale factor. Okay, make sure you have 2 reasons in your answer. And then part B, now you have to choose a scale factor that would make this rectangle smaller, similar rectangle. So this time you should have chosen any number. It could be a decimal fraction that is less than 1, but it should be positive, no negatives. I am going to choose it to be 1/4, which as a decimal, 0.25. So then the new length, same thing, I'm going to multiply 3 centimeters, the length, the original length 3, going to multiply that by 0.25, and then going to do the same thing, going to multiply the original width, which was 4 centimeters. I'm going to multiply that also by 0.25. Multiply by the same scale factor. So I'm going to get 0.75 for both lengths, and then same thing, 4 times 0.25, and my calculator, 1 centimeter. And then make sure you explain why it's similar to the original. It's smaller, but still has the same corresponding angles, and all sides are multiplied by the same scale factor, 0.25. Okay, so you should have 2 reasonings in your explanation. Now let's move on to the number 2, the last problem. So this time you have triangle ABC, DEF, they're both already similar. You have to find the missing side and the missing angles. Write down notes. Number 1, we're going to write on the side, angles in a triangle must always add up to 180 degrees. Okay, so make sure you write that. So you don't have to draw this for like, for example, if you have a triangle like this, let's say this is 60 degrees and that's 50 degrees. 60 plus 50 is 1. I know it doesn't look like 50. 50 is 110. So then you have to have that third angle be 70 degrees to make this whole thing equal to 180. So in this triangle, we can find that missing angle B by taking 56 degrees, 94 degrees, and add them together and subtract from 180. Then you'll get that remaining angle. Okay, so I'm going to do 180 minus angle A, which is 56, minus angle C, which is 94. That gives me 30. So angle B is 30 degrees. So write that in there. I did 180, the number sentence, minus 56, minus 94. We got 30 degrees as the answer. Now we got that. Now EF, DF, EF. We got to find all the measures of the other triangle. Well, we know that they're similar, so all angles must be the same. So if that's 56, they're both 56, which means angle E, it's matching, it's corresponding to angle B. So angle E is going to be 30 degrees. And then angle C corresponds to angle F. They're the matching angles, so F should be 94 degrees. So we're going to write a note here. Corresponding angles are the same. So now we're going to have to find this side, DF and EF. Well, from the top triangle ABC to DEF, it's been scaled up, right? It's been scaled up. It's a stretch. The triangle's gotten bigger. By how much? So you got to find the scale factor, right? 6 times what gives you 7.5? Well, to find scale factor, it's always the new triangle's length divided by the original. So if we say that this is the original and this is new, we're going to use 6 centimeters and 7.5 centimeters. If this is 7.5, the new triangle has the side that's 7.5 centimeters. And then the original triangle has 6 centimeters. We're going to divide that. 7.5 divided by 6. And you should get 1.25 as a scale factor. So we're going to find DF by multiplying. DF is right here. It corresponds to 3 centimeters. They match. So I'm going to draw an arrow. I'm going to multiply 3 by 1.25. You put that in the calculator. Sorry, I don't have time to do calculator, so I'm going to leave that to you. And then now EF. EF is the longer version from BC. So draw arrow. EF is going to be 5 times the scale factor 1.25. Everything's just being multiplied by 1.25. And then whatever you get from the calculator, that's going to be the answer. All right, make sure you glue in this handout in your notebook and please continue checking the Google Slides.